That would mean that the wind speeds are expected to increase at least 35 miles an hour in 24 hours. So we're looking at a major hurricane forecast in the Gulf of Mexico.
Hey, welcome to Florida Prepper, where we celebrate God, guns, guitars, and all things cool to us dudes. Today we're going to be talking about hurricane season. I live in Florida. Hurricane Ian is right around the corner, like literally a couple of days away. There's a million videos out there on how to prepare for a hurricane, and they're all valid and have their own opinions. These are mine. This is not a go bag video. This is not a, get in your car and head to Tennessee because a hurricane's coming video. This is a video on what you're going to want to make sure that you have with you in your house because you've made the decision to stay in your house and ride the storm out. Probably one of the better or safer bets in the long run, unless it's like a Category 5 and you just need to get the hell out of Dodge. But I live in a single-story brick home. It's very solid. It's got a newer roof that's hurricane strapped. But that doesn't mean, you're totally prepared for when the shit hits the fan. Right now, I've noticed already at all the grocery stores, there's no water. There's lines at the gas station. A lot of the soup cans and stuff are gone already because people weren't prepared. So now they're freaking out and they're grabbing everything. And you think after this amount of time living in Florida, they would know better, but no. So this is just a general idea. Let's say 6 o'clock at night, you're watching TV, you can hear the wind blowing outside, you know the hurricane's basically hitting your field of path, and then boom, lights go out. Dark enough that you kind of want some light in the house, definitely getting darker, the wind's picking up, transformer's obviously blown. First thing you're going to go to is your lights, and you want to have batteries in them, you want to have them charged if they need to be charged, and you want to have them readily available so you can run through the house and you can immediately go, oh, okay, here's that, and set these out. These little guys are great because they're nice and bright and you can just set them wherever you need to go, one here, one there. You'd be amazed how little light you really need in the house so at least you can see and you're not tripping over the dog. We went through Hurricane Irma 5 years ago now, and we were somewhat prepared, but we could have definitely been more prepared. This time, as far as I'm concerned, we're ready to go. But that's because we've already experienced it. Obviously, water is critical, no matter what. You can go 3 weeks without eating and you're going to lose some weight. You can't go more than 3 days without water or you will die. So make sure you have plenty of water on hand. That's the most critical thing. If you forget everything else, make sure you have the ability to get water and be able to sustain with that. Some of the nicer creature habits that are good, if you've got like some portable fans, some battery operated fans, because the first thing you're going to notice on night one with the power out is, holy shit, it's hot, I live in Florida and now my air conditioner's not kicking on. When we went through Irma, we had a couple of these, we put them on either side of the bed and it was like life changing. It meant so much. Obviously, gasoline, make sure you're topped up on gas. You got to have, however many gas cans you have, make sure they're full and do this days before so you're not waiting in line and punching somebody out to get that last gallon of gas at the gas station. Money, remember, the power's out. So if the power's out and you need to go get baby formula or medicine or diapers, you're going to have cash. So grab some cash out of the bank and just have it aside. You can always redeposit it later if you don't want to keep cash in your house. But for when you know you're getting ready to lose power, you want to have some cash. If the power's out, the tellers can't take a credit card, but if you give them $5 and say keep the change, then you can get what you need to do. That's another key tip. Don't pull out $300-$400 bills. You need to make sure that your currency is small denominations, 5s, 10s, 1s, at the most 20s, because they can't make change. The register may not even be able to open up. So you need to be able to sacrifice whatever the minimal is for what it is that you need to get, and at least you can still get stuff. Propane, if you have Coleman lanterns, those are like the brightest lantern you can get to light up your house. The propane in those things will last for days, probably 4 or 5 days, because you're only running these lights in the evening. During the day, you don't need to be running any lights. You don't need to be running any fans. You just got to deal with it. Open the windows and deal with it. Medications are critical. If you know there's a storm coming, get to the pharmacy and make sure you have all the meds that are going to get you through at least 2 weeks, because you don't know how long the power is going to be out, and you don't want to have to continue to wait to get your meds. So update your meds or resupply your meds, make sure you have them. Rechargeable batteries, if you have a solar pack, something you can set out in the front yard during the day and recharge your AA's or whatever you have so you can update stuff. It's good to have power packs for your cell phones. Charge all that stuff up the day before and make sure that everything's as fully charged as it can, because once that power goes out, you can't recharge those unless you have those power banks and stuff. This is a little trick I've learned the hard way. C-cell batteries are almost useless. D batteries are where it's at. Just about every one of my larger lights, my fans, anything that requires what turns into 12 volts requires D-cell batteries. You can buy a bulk of them on Amazon, not very expensive. I bought a bulk of C's, and then I realized I don't have a damn light in my garage that takes a C battery. So I'm not even sure what I'm going to do with these. Radios, communication, comms. I have a ham radio because I'm a ham radio licensed operator, so I can communicate. Fortunately for me, there's a repeater tower literally right across the street, so I can reach a long distance if there was in case of emergency and the cell phones were down. Weather band radios, great to have so you can keep updated on what's going on. Any type of emergency radio, you can buy them at Best Buy. It's definitely good to have an emergency radio because at least even local programming will come through and you'll have a better idea of where the storm's at, when it's safe, etc. Food, pretty critical. Non-perishable food. Don't make the mistake of buying a bunch of Johnny Pops, because what's going to happen when the freezer goes out and 2 days later all of your meat is thawed and all of your shit is melted. Get non-perishable foods. Get foods that you can cook. If you have a barbecue grill that has a side burner on it, you can cook. Corned beef hashes, you can make soups. You've got plenty of bread. Anything like that while you're using the grill to cook your meats. Because after 2 or 3 days with the power out, you're going to want to take all of your meat and throw it on the grill and at least cook it so you can consume it as opposed to just throwing it away. So here's a fun little trick that I learned. RVs going down the street, RVs camping at parks, they have lights. They work off car batteries, right? So when we went through Hurricane Irma 5 years ago now, what I had was an inverter. And I actually took cables off my car battery to the inverter, and we could watch the news off our 110 volt TV through the inverter. So there are ways to figure out, okay, I really need to find out what's going on. You can use 12 volts, you can convert that. What I did, this is very cool. I purchased on Amazon 12 volt light bulbs. This is a standard normal size light bulb, but it's 12 volts, so it's not 110 volts like your outlet is. And then I built, very simply, these little boxes that hold 8 D-cell batteries with an extension cord. I hooked it up. So 8 D-cell batteries is 12 volts. So you can have these prepared. It takes maybe probably 20 minutes at the most to paint it, put them all together, everything. But you replace your light bulbs in your house with these 12 volts and just have this box sitting next to it. I tested this setup. I turned that light on for probably about 6 hours a night for 3 nights. So we're at 18 hours off one 8-pack of D-cell batteries, and I still could not get that to die. So I don't even know how long this would last, but basically you could go for several nights just turning on your lamps. We're as close to as bright as a standard incandescent or LED lamp that would normally be in it, but it's a 12 volt bulb. So you're just running batteries to power your house. So having some light in the living room, just being able to not waste the little lamps, or the little lamps just don't do that much for you. Then at least you could do something like this, and it's probably about $20 in parts at the most. You're just using your lamp already. You're just replacing the bulb. I always make sure I have plenty of matches and candles, stuff like that, because I don't want to waste my batteries if I don't have to. If there's other ways that you can have light and comforts, then you can do that. Makes it easier. One of the last things that I'm going to bring up is home security. Obviously, Florida Prepper, we celebrate God, guns, guitars, and all things cool to dudes. That certainly means we celebrate firearms and the Second Amendment. Your choice as to what you want to have to protect your family. If your house is the only house that's lit up, people who are really hungry and desperate may want to come to your house because clearly you have the resources that they don't, and they're going to take them from you. You're not going to let them do that. Your weapons of choice, what you choose to have around the house, if you have kids, totally understandable. A shotgun, a pistol, and an AR, as far as I'm concerned, are the three best guns to have in your house. Keep them in the safe, but if you need them, at least they're there. Obviously, make sure that you have plenty of ammunition because, once again, if the power goes out, let's say it goes out for a week, you want to make sure that you have the ability to defend and protect your family for that entire time. Now, side note, if you have an in-ground or above-ground pool, you can drink that water. You need to make sure it's filtered properly, like a Berkey system or boiling it or something of that nature. If you do have a pool, that could be 14,000 gallons of water that you can consume until the world gets back to normal. If you have a portable generator in a generator shed, in a safe environment, not your garage, but if you have it set up like in a shed where all that carbon monoxide goes somewhere else and you can power your house, that's a great way to do it because there's several different ways you can hook that generator up to your house to help it give you at least the basic resources. Now, most of them aren't going to run your air conditioning or anything, ovens that are 220, stuff of that nature, but it will run a lot of the standard stuff. It'll run your TVs, it'll run your lights, stuff like that. This video is really just to get us through 3 or 4 days. When we went through Hurricane Irma, it was 4 days. By day 4, and I didn't have a generator, I had the inverter. By day 4, a friend finally lent me one of their generators. I brought it home, all excited. Boom, the power kicked back on. We didn't need it anymore. AC kicked on, TV kicked on. Oh my God, it was like the best feeling ever. But we live in Florida, so we have to be prepared for this. Critical, meds, critical, little bit of cash, just so you can get through. No power, they can't change the denominations, they can't give you change back, they can't run your debit card. Make sure you have that. Fuel, if you need it, to power your generators, or to put in your car to get the heck out. That's another one. Before the hurricane hits, make sure you have a full tank of gas. Water's the most critical. You need to have at least 3 gallons of water per person per day in your house. Do the math. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to drink 3 gallons of water, but that's including disposable water, toilet flushing water, bathing water, per person per day. So have that. Non-perishable foods. Don't go buy a bunch of stuff you got to put in the freezer. Freezer's going to be dead after 3 days. All that food's going to go bad. You're going to be cooking it on the grill. Propane for your grill. All the resources you need. Rechargeables for your electronics, iPads, cell phones, USB packs, all of that good stuff. Simple, candles, stuff like that, just so you have it. If you have all these things, very, very simple to put together this kit very quickly. Unless you're doing it the day of the hurricane, then you're screwed. So have these things available. Have a little tote in your garage. It's got your radios. It's got your D-cell batteries, your propanes. Obviously, the meds stay in the house anyway. Water, however you choose to store your water. As long as you have those things, you're going to do just fine. You're going to get through the hurricane. Remember, this is just in case you're deciding to ride the storm out. Staying at home, just let the hurricane go past you and all is well. We have 3 dogs. We're not going to go to a hotel. We're going to stay here. Hurricane Ian is 3 days away. If we lose power, I'll add to this video and we'll keep on going and show you how we get through this thing. Until then, God love you, rock and roll, be safe.